right, guys, it's Dom here from Soundsphere. I'm here with Paul Mullen of Yourcodenameismilo and like a million other bands. We're going to talk about the Yourcodenameismilo gigs that are coming up, but also other projects. So, dude, first question. We talked a little bit about it before, but how is your lockdown? What are you doing? How are you coping?
I'm good. Coping pretty all right. It's what a nuts time. I was due to be on tour with Iamx right now, actually. In fact, probably the last show would have been around about today, maybe this week. But so I'm out in Pioneer Town in California. Came out to do some pre-production and sort out the tour before we went out on the road. This whole coronavirus thing happened, so we had to, we postponed the tour to start at the end of September. And I just decided to stay out here. Got a visa. I've got as you can see, Dom, with a little studio set up here, and I'm doing work out with these guys. So haven't been back into LA for about 2 months. So yeah, I've just been in lockdown and having some silly ideas and writing a lot of music, and enjoying the sort of the not fear of missing out.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. There's nothing going on, so you can just take a deep breath and sort of just kind of take stock and sort of chill a bit and get some ideas flowing and have the space to be able to breathe and spread your arms a bit.
Absolutely, man. It's awesome to see you out there and enjoying yourself in the bunker for sure. So, all right, so you're in the desert in America. You're living in Berlin, but you're out there. You're in lockdown. How on earth did you make this happen? The Milo reunion shows and getting it all together. Because obviously you got to get in touch with the venues. You got to get in touch with the band. So how did that? Tell me what the first moment you were like, right, I'm going to do this. Was it a late night caffeine fueled binge, or were you just sat having worked all day? What moment? Take me back to when you first thought you were going to do this.
Well, the first moment was probably a few years ago. I had contacted the band and even the old tour manager and sound engineer, just saying that we might do something, So it's always been in the back of my mind, but it never really felt right in the time, and people, everyone's now has been over 15 years or whatever, so people have got lives, family, other bands, other commitments, other countries, all that stuff. But this time round, I think it was a Facebook, just seeing how venues are really, really suffering, and everyone, in fact, because of this coronavirus, but especially this venue that was our second home, the Cluny, and Newcastle in England, and it just felt like we could do something, and knowing that everyone's at home, everyone's got a bit of time, to relearn this. I was thinking, right, we could relearn the songs because I haven't got a fucking clue how to play it again. But it was down to the Cluny. It was all because we know that everyone's struggling, and it just felt like the right thing to do. I mean, Adam wrote a beautiful statement about it, saying that we had meetings, and just every lunchtime we'd be going down there. We'd have record labels come up and we'd take them to the Cluny. We'd do our album launch, our EP launch, always at the Cluny. It was just right. It was the center of our band, really. All decision making and stuff, and just thought, now it would be the good time, and just give everything, give all the money back to the Cluny, how they want to use it, and it might have been, it could have been caffeine. I can't remember exactly when, because it's been building. I can't remember the exact moment when it sort of was like, right, we're going to do this. I think I just put feelers out to the band. I spoke to all the lads individually, I think, and just sort of got their sort of take before really going. And Adam had said that, I thought about the same thing myself. It was there, like it was red. It was on the tip of my tongue just to say, let's do this. And and then the Cluny, they're great. Like, still, the same people that we know from years ago are still there, and so it just feels like a really, really nice thing to do. And so September, we put the September 18th out, and that sold out within like 2 hours. So we've got the 17th, which is insane. And yeah, so hopefully the shows will happen. The shows will happen, no doubt about it. Whether it's in September, I mean, obviously we're not going to do it if it's not safe. We're not going to push it. You know, if it's not safe with the government, whatever the guidelines we have, we will follow. But they will happen.
Absolutely.
It's not like those tickets, whatever those tickets will be. Whoever's got those tickets, we'll see us at some point. Hopefully September.
Exciting, man, for sure. And obviously, as an extension of these reunion shows, you have gone on to do other stuff, like Young Legionnaire, Horse Fight Losers. Obviously, you're teching and traveling all over the world with different bands. So what does Milo mean to you now as a project and a band?
Well, right. I mean, it's crazy thinking that it's going to get back. I mean, it was always the baby. It was the first thing. It was the band that did our first radio session, our first PL session. You know, all these things happened with the first time we was with Milo, so it was very much just super fresh and super exciting and yeah, everything that could possibly happen to a band, I suppose, or an artist, happened with that project for me. So that is, that instantly just brings up a whole bunch of like happiness. And there's a lot of, we were let down a lot of times, and and the bad times as well. It all happened for the first time with Milo. School band and stuff, yeah, you do get it, but wasn't on as a bigger scale sort of thing, or in the industry, or in that kind of structure of, what Milo was. So it was a real special moment. A real special moment. It's been great looking. We did a listening party, because All Roads turned 16 last week, I think. So I thought, okay, we'll do that. And just look back at all the pictures, and all the band members got in touch and got involved, and we all look back on that time like great memories, really, really fondly, and so yeah, it's going to be interesting playing those tracks again as well.
Yeah, it's exciting, man, for sure, man. It's a good time for you, and I think as an extension of that as well. Like, what are some of your favorite memories that you associate with the band? Again, you got to do some really cool stuff, the Peel session, stuff like that, but not only that, but you developed such a core fan base that still look back on those records, still look back at like Prince is Dead, and obviously the people you had on there, and still look back at, They Came From the Sun and All Roads, of course, as records that people put in their top tens. People put it on before they, go and play shows and stuff. You've got bands that credit you guys as influences now. So, like, what tell me about some of your favorite memories that you will always, I'm not going to say like when you're on your deathbed, because that's bleak as fuck, but like when you reach the end of your existence, many years from now, what will you look back on as like memories where you're like, wow, I can't believe I got to do that? Do you know what I mean?
Well, the Peel session mentioned was was one. It all started with him, really. He heard a demo. Well, he didn't actually hear a demo, because we sent him a CD and it didn't work. So he ended up calling up Justin saying, "Look, I'm going to make it my life's work to listen to your CD. It doesn't work on my BBC, in my car, in my home. Can you send me another CD?" And we're like, "Yeah, it's not John Peel." But we said, and it was, and we had a session before we even played a gig with him, and that was insane. Just being such a new band, and being in Maidavale in London, BBC, and doing that, and just the buzz from that, really, and it just all happened so fast. The Albini session, I mean, in Utro, Nirvana is pretty much my favorite record. It changed. It completely changed like everything for me, really. I was into rock music, Def Leppard, but I still, they're in there. Def Leppard is just like, my first love. But In Utero came out when I was 11 or 12, and that just sounded like nothing I've ever heard before. So to be in the studio in Chicago with Steve Albini, who did that record, and I was 21, just you got it, phenomenal, really. And looking back on those pictures recently was brilliant. and gigs. I remember great shows, especially in Glasgow. Like Glasgow seemed to be amazing. King
Yeah.
Tut's, Barrowlands, just unreal. Recording Nota with Flood. Again, other unbelievable producers. Saw him recently, and he was even saying he looks back like he was listening to that record. I surprised him. He was doing a talk in Berlin. And it's like, what the? He's like, I just listened to the record last week. I was like, yeah. But yeah, and just having the freedom as well. Like looking back, and didn't realize at the time. But now looking back on it, some of the fond memories was just the amount of freedom that we were given in the studio and what we were doing. Was a real like, it was really nice to do that thing. Yeah, going to India.
Dude, that's amazing.
Went to India and played headlined an amazing festival. Which all started out with Glastonbury as well. Just some of the festivals. There's a lot. Can you tell my mind is going? It might be the coffee as well, but my mind is going crazy now thinking of all the things. There's probably loads of stuff that I missed out.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good selection. It's a good selection. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm gonna talk to you a little about success and your definition of it in a little while. But I think that's something to sort of end it on, because I think there's a lot of stuff there you've done, that you've achieved, that you can look back on and look at as success. But talking about what you've been able to achieve outside of Milo as well, because I think that while I've got you here, I'm going to talk about Losers and how much, I mean, I love that band. A lot of people do love that band. Gary Newman loves that band, and we'll talk about Young Legionnaire as well. But similar question, how do you look at those projects within your kind of repertoire? Because, you're working on stuff right now. What are you working on? What does Losers mean to you now? Where does Young Legionnaire sit in your mindset for creativity?
Mm-hmm. Well, it all seemed to be happening right now, and at this moment, the Milo thing. Losers, we've just finished an EP. Me and Tom, when I'm back in Berlin, we're pretty much in the studio every day, working, writing, just trying out different things. So that's constant. We don't really play live that much. I can't remember the last show we did, but we're busy. We're making noise all the time. There's no doubt about that. So that's very present and very. The EP's just been done. It just got mastered this week, so I'll have to find out when that's coming out. Just to let you know about that. Actually, it's sounding great. So that's all done. Young Legionnaire's always been a kind of like a stop-start thing. I'm always writing those kind of riffs, so I've always put them in the bank. They're always there, but it's always when we're the three of us, because Gordon was living in Texas for 8 years during that project. So it was, and we always had a thing like, we've got to be in the same room when we're writing. So that was very much like a turn the tap on and go for it. And then when we're out, we do the tours and then kind of stop and write the odd riff here and there, but it's always when the three of us are in the room. So that was quite nice, because as much as I'd love to play live with that band anymore, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And yeah, so that it's all it's kind of weird. I went, when I was back in London must be about 10 years ago now. After, so I did the Automatics for a bit. After I left that, I was moved into Tom's studio, Tom from Losers in London, and I pretty much said yes to every band that I was kind of asked to join or play with. So I think I was working with 5 or 6 different active bands at the time, just going around and writing and playing live and doing some studio work, and I really enjoyed it. And I learned a lot about myself, about how I fit as a writer, as a musician, and all these different works. A bit like the Print is Dead thing, really, what we did with Milo, this collaborations thing. I've always been great at bouncing off other people in the studio, or bouncing off them live, and so I still like to keep that aspect of it, and I think that's carried on throughout a career, whatever you want to call it, what I've got. And that might have been the start of it, the Print is Dead thing, just being working with so many different, and loving just I love the first idea, and I love that the first time that you write something and it clicks. That's it. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's the moment there. even the mistakes that sound a bit weird, that there's just those first those first moments, and you get that a lot when you're working with new people, you know.
Yeah, totally.
So I like to keep that, but also, you know, then you take a lot from that. You learn a lot from that as an artist, and then you can put it into other things which are a little bit more kind of specific, like the losers thing, and then, you know, you can pick and choose which. I'm trying to think now.
No, yeah.
But you know, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah, it's sort of developing different ideas for different things, and that makes
Mm.
it's actually really interesting because I got to speak to Martin Grech like a couple of months back, you know, and it's amazing to see him back with a new record because I mean I discovered him I think on Print Is Dead, and then blew my mind. You know what I mean? So like when you look at artists that were on that record that are still doing stuff today, and some of them of course moved on to other stuff, it's still incredible. It still stands up. You know what I mean? And that's the great thing about Milo's stuff is, you know, one of my questions, I was going to leave it to later, but I hear a lot of Milo and a lot of that signature sound and a lot of young bands coming out, you know, in different places in the north, you know, and it's really interesting. And it's a bit of a cheesy one, but I think it'd be interesting to ask you, what advice have you got for young people who, you know, might take inspiration from what you've been able to do with not only Milo, but they might be a fan of Losers, or they might be a fan of Horsefight, or whatever projects you've been involved in. You know, what tips and advice? Because you came out of Newcastle, you know what I mean? Like that it's not necessarily the place you would necessarily think that all the opportunities are gonna come to. So, you know, what advice and tips have you got from people that, you know, aren't in the centre of London, they're not in LA, you know, they might be in Newcastle, they might be in Hull, they might be in, I don't know, Leeds, wherever, about how to make a dent as you were able to do and have continued to do?
Well, it was started with Milo. Was we tried not to go down to London as much as possible in the early days. We wanted people to come to us and see our little studio, our little spot in our lives, and see us and get a picture of it, because that's it, isn't it? We were just locked away, and we locked ourselves away. Basically, we didn't really hung out with other bands in the Northeast, but we never played. We never, you know, see them down in the Clooney probably, but we just kept ourselves to ourselves, locked ourselves in, and tried to write the best music that we wanted to hear, and kept going until felt like we got it right, you know, threw everything at it, and that was still what I try to do now. Just get yourself in that studio, get yourself in a little rehearsal space in your bedroom and whatever, and just try and write the best possible music. Yeah. That's what it was. It felt like back then. I mean, now there's a whole different aspect of the business, the social media thing. I mean, that still scares me, that sort of stuff. But I think it's just got to be about the song and about the. We always in the Loser Studio. It's always like, when you finish a song, can you stand behind it? Is this you? Are you trying to be something else here? Or is this you? Can you stand in front of 10 people and play it exactly the same way you would play it in front of 10,000 people? Because that's it, you know, no questions. You know, you see someone like, to get something like, you know, Prince or Bowie or Bjork. I mean, they're big, you know, that's just go big, because you never question who they are. It's just like, that's them. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
That's sort of it. That's just what they do. There's not a single bit of doubt in it. And that's, if you get a song where you can just be like, this is it. I don't give a fuck what people think in the end of it, because this is like, this is me. This is a total extension of what I want to do. And there's no like, I mean, it's very hard to, it's
putting yourself out there.
Like, yeah, it's just it's just like this, I keep saying it, but this is me. Can you stand behind that track? Can you play it in front of 10 people or 10,000? And you're going to give the same performance, because one, it means so much to you, and two, and it's just like, it is you.
Yeah.
And people are going to see that. People are going to hear it and see it and just be like, right, I'm in.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said before about how Milo connected with people, I think there was an element of that. Like, people got it. They were like, right, okay, I'm in now. I'm not going to go after 13 years. And some people didn't get it, and that's great. That's fine. You know, don't like in the middle ground. Oh, okay, that's all right. Stick it on in a lift. But like, you know, confuse the fuck out of people. We did that a lot, like that. Still do. Good.
Yeah. That's true artistry, isn't it? When you can confuse people like that, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
I like it. I picked up on something you said a minute ago about how you've learned a lot about yourself, and I thought that was quite interesting because obviously you've had quite a vast career and you've done so many different things across the world. What have you learned about yourself from your beginnings with Milo, and I guess as a person in general? Right up until now, like what have you learned about yourself through the music that you've made over the years?
I get frustrated easy in the studio. I know that. I know I'm very much about the new, and the fresh idea, and I know I like the idea of potential, and sometimes not realizing it as much as I should, and finishing things. I can quite adapt pretty well. I think at the start I was pretty scared, I suppose. I think I wasn't quite ready. I don't think anyone could be quite ready for, you know, that sort of nonsense that goes with that. You know, they're going on the ride of a band that sort of gets picked up by a major label, and you know, it's so I learned a lot then, as it was going, you know. But yeah, I think I'm constantly learning. I think I'm constantly making mistakes, and I think that's a good thing, you know, in music and in life. As long as you learn from them, I suppose. But it's hard to think what, like, yeah.
That's good. I mean, there's some good stuff in there, man. Like there is some good stuff in there about you sort of changing and developing and stuff. Again, I'll sort of extend that a bit more because maybe you can tie that into the next question. We get a lot of young people coming up to us and saying, "Oh, I see Paul Mullen, you know, living, you know, working in the desert in LA, or they'll see, you know, you toured all over the place with Milo or Losers," and a lot of people comparatively will look at that and go, I'll never get that. I'll never get that. I'll never be a real success. You know, they've feel down. We've talked a little bit about mental health before, you know, and I wanted to ask you, what is your attitude to success? What does success mean to you as a person?
Success. It's not really, I mean, feeling kind of like full within yourself, you know, that is half the battle, isn't it? You know, just like feeling like you're firing on all cylinders and you feel like and you feel good. That if you, whatever you're doing in life, if you're feeling good about it and you feel good in yourself, then that's success, really. That's how it should be measured. You know, the fame is, I mean, I had a little dip in that, I suppose, but there's no doubt that touring and playing in front of people is great, and it's a good, and that. But I suppose the main thing is, the simplest way is, to understand is like, does it make you feel happy? Are you fulfilled with what you do? And I think that should be more of an internal thing. The external thing kind of then gets a bit confusing.
Yeah.
And it becomes a bit like, well, who am I trying to please here? What is that success? That's success to other people. That's how they gauge it. But actually, you should be like, well, no, I should figure it out for me, and then anything else should fall into place, and shouldn't really worry about it too much. So I try not to.
Yeah.
Does that sort of make sense? I guess
it does make sense. It does make sense. Yeah. I mean, like, obviously, you know, going forward from that, you know, so did you used to put more weight on success, and have you kind of become more comfortable in yourself? It seems to me, you know, because like, obviously you've achieved so much, and I would view you as a success personally, you know, because you're a sound guy, you're a good dude, and you know, you make cool music. But, you know, like, have you always had the same sort of perception? How's your definition of success changed over the years? Did you used to, you know, has that changed and developed at all?
Yeah, I mean, at the start, you you get signed to a big label, you have all this press, and you have all, you know, we won a couple of awards and all that stuff. So that sort of, in the whole grand system and the industry of it all, that is success. That is deemed as, right, you're a successful sort of thing. So there's a lot of weight on that. 21, 22-year-olds, you're like, okay, this is success. This is how it's measured. Before that, as a band, your measure of success was getting a free Creative Carlin or fucking Foster's at a gig, and that was your payment, and that's success.
Yeah.
You don't get money, you know, you get some beer, free beer. Success, we've made it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's as it gets up and up and up, but and it's, of course, it's great having the free beer, whatever. But like, it's good having going along the ride and having a label that supports you and all these things. And but there is going to be big letdowns along your, in any walk of life. There's going to be letdowns, and I think I let them. I think the difference was the job I do, the music that I make. Of course, I'm very emotionally connected to it. So as soon as I get it out there, let it go, it still feels like a real part of me is gone with it as well. So if that doesn't get, you know, a great response, or it doesn't work the way I feel like it should in my little brain thoughts, you know, then I may directly affect me. So I'd get myself really down, and it would just be this kind of massive outpouring of creativity that I thought, and just go out and get it. But then what would come back from this thing that I create would just be negative, just a negative stream of just coming back, and it would just destroy me sometimes, you know, and get myself into really dark places. The difference being now is I am me. Yeah. This is me right here doing stuff. I'll put things out and then I'll let it go, you know. That's like kind of, and if it doesn't, I don't let those things come back to me now. I'm like, okay, it didn't work. All right. Oh, some people liked it or whatever, you know, but I'm still me. I just like, I have my own thing going on, you know. This is like an external part of it. And I've put a lot into it, no doubt about it. And I always will. And I'll keep doing that. And I'll be right. Okay. Just, you know, just dust off. All right, we're cool. That didn't sort of work out as way I thought it would or whatever. Some people liked it. Great. Next, let's crack on, you know. So I try not to make that negative energy coming back from something that didn't quite work out, you know. I'd just be like, right, okay, didn't work out. Fuck it. What's next?
Yeah.
Just crack on.
Sounds
so
like
that's the main thing, really. That's definitely
yeah.
That's it. The job with it. The job sort of took over me, sort of thing. Sort of lost my who I am as a person, and I'm not the job, you know.
Sounds like you've grown into
it is a job, isn't it? Sometimes it feels like a job. Sometimes it really feels like a job. Sometimes it feels like fucking shit. Sometimes you do not want to get in the studio at 10 in the morning or whatever, whenever you go in, and just like, oh. And then you've got to think 15-year-old Paul would be like punching you right in the face if you were complaining about going into a studio. But you know, life, things happen and stuff goes on. But yeah.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And thanks for sharing all that with me as well. I think, you know, as an extension, it does sound like you've grown and developed a lot, man. And obviously, like, it's a lot, you know, you've done a lot of really cool shit, which is awesome. And before we finish off, I do want to ask you, you know, we talked a little bit about stuff outside of music before, about like you going running and stuff and doing other things. It's important as well to let people know that, you know, it's good to do a bit of self-care and look after yourself a bit. What is it that you do outside of music that, you know, that motivates you? You know, if you're having a bad day, do you go for a run? What kind of things excite you and make you passionate and make you happy outside of music? I mean, maybe it is just music. Maybe you're just in the bunker 24/7. I don't know. But what is it outside of music that makes you really happy?
I mean, running definitely is like, it's like therapy for me. It's like meditation, you know. You could stick a podcast on, stick some music on, and go for a nice long run and just think about nothing, you know. Really important to sometimes think about nothing, just to like just to clear it all out, you know. Come back feeling great. It's good for the body, it's really good for the mind. And yeah, if I feel like I'm a bit bit knackered, feel, get out, go for a run, just come back. All right, great, energized. And I do love, I love just hanging out, seeing my mates, like normal people, I love football, watching football, all the things you can't do right now. I love all those things. My team, Sunderland, we're shite, but I love them, and I'll watch every game. But I would say the main thing is sort of running, and just that's it really. Just quite simple. I would go to the pub, I'd hang out with my mates, I'd do a bit of running.
Nice.
A lot of it is studio stuff though. A lot of it is like, I find a lot of good things, like being in here and creating. I mean, it is sort of is my life really, but
it's good, man.
Zooms are good now. I'm enjoying Zooms. I feel like I'm more connected. Like right now, I've been more connected with and seen my parents, excuse me, more than I have like when coronavirus wasn't happening. So I think it's like a real. It's quite. I would speak to them every day, but actually seeing them like we're talking now, this thing.
Yeah, man.
We're doing a murder mystery tomorrow.
Ooh.
On Zoom.
Love it. Yeah.
I'm looking for that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy outside of music. Murder mysteries on Zoom.
That's the way. That's the way to do it. I have like family quizzes on Zoom now. It's honestly the way.
Yeah. Every Sunday.
Yeah.
They're all having it. Yeah, but it's always like 10 in the morning or 12 in the afternoon here, and they're all like the night time, Sunday night or something, and I'm like, just have another coffee and but yeah.
Man, I'm dead chuffed, man. I hope the murder mystery goes well. Just to finish off, then, man. So Losers have a new EP, right? So that's that one. Okay. So you're working on Young Legionnaire. Cool.
Yep.
So that's that as well. You're working on your Young Legionnaire stuff, right? These Milo gigs. Is there any chance this is going to be an epic reunion, or are these right now? Is it one and done? Like.
Right now it's what we've had we've had a couple of people get in touch, but about stuff next year. But right now it's gigs at the Clooney. That's it for now. But let's see how it goes. See if we can remember the songs and see if we still we do like each other. We're trying to meet up every Christmas. But yeah, I think short answer, Clooney shows in September.
Nice. Yeah, see what happens from that. And you've also got like horse fights. So what other stuff? What are you writing right now? Like, what are you working on? What other stuff? You're like one of the most prolific writers and creatives I know. Like, it's insane the amount of stuff you put out. So like, what else are you working on? Have you got anything else you want to promote and or talk about?
I've got another record that I can't tell you anything about, but that's done. But that's finished. I have an acoustic guitar here. I'm in the desert. In the desert in California. It would seem a bit wrong if I didn't try some sort of acoustic numbers,
Beautiful, yeah.
I've been wanting to do for like 15 years is to do some solo stuff, maybe, just nice big open tunings, sort of drones and just a bit of vocal things. So we'll see how it's going. So yeah, just at the moment, I've just been going through all my old voice notes from the years and just trying to think of what might work as a sort of EP. So we'll see what comes out of it. I mean, I've kind of I don't know what it says, because then I have to make it happen. I want to do a song a week.
Nice.
Write it and then perform it probably on Instagram at the end of the week. And just why am I doing this? I'm an idiot. Yeah, just to start from scratch and write a song and then perform it each week after I'm here. So, but by the end of it, if these Milo shows happen, like I said, we'll change it, whatever. Yeah, so maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do it. Right, I've said it now. I'm gonna have to do it.
There you go. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Good luck with it, man. That's amazing. I'm dead excited for you. Dead proud that you're out there doing what you're doing, and you're going to come back and do these shows and stuff. Obviously, a lot of people are into it, and a lot of people are getting behind Milo again. So it's real cool to sit down with you. It's been a long time, so I'm real happy to be
Great
here.
to see you. It's great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you as well. I'll catch up with you soon. Enjoy the rest of your time in the bunker. All right, dude.
I will do. Yeah. Cheers, Dom.
Take care, man. See you in a
Bye
bit.
bye.